On this day, 8 years ago, March 25th, 2015, the 5-member band One Direction became a group of only 4 as Zayn Malik left One Direction.
Zayn Malik is leaving One Direction. Because Zayn Malik has left the band.
Harry, rightfully so, had a little bit of a mini breakdown during the boys' first concert without Zayn.
Honestly, such a heartbreaking day for me. I thought my world was ending.
How do you feel about Zayn leaving One Direction?
It is the end of an era, you guys, and our worst nightmare.
But I feel like it can't be One Direction without Zayn.
This was a somewhat unexpected announcement made via the band's Facebook page. Don't know why they announced it through Facebook, but they did that. They did. Actually, I'm just gonna read the Facebook post. Why not? I'm gonna read it. After 5 incredible years, Zayn Malik has decided to leave One Direction. Niall, Harry, Liam, and Louis will continue as a 4-piece and look forward to the forthcoming concerts of their world tour and recording their 5th album. Zayn says, quote, "My life with One Direction has been more than I could ever have imagined, but after 5 years, I feel like it is now the right time for me to leave the band. I'm leaving because I want to be a normal 22-year-old who is able to relax and have some private time out of the spotlight. I know they will continue to be the best band in the world," end quote. Simon Cowell says, quote, "I would like to say thank you to Zayn for everything he has done for One Direction."
So I said to her, "Angelina, I want to. I really want to."
Did we really need to know what Simon had to say? No, absolutely not. I don't care what Simon Cowell has to say on the situation. I don't. A week before this news broke, Zayn actually left the tour they were on, the On the Road Again tour. Yeah, Otra. According to One Direction, he left due to stress, which makes complete sense, especially now knowing a lot of what went on with the boys on tour and just in general, like being in One Direction and their management. There was a lot of struggling from each of them, okay? So one of them was bound to quit at some point and just leave. Yeah, like he said, he's f***ing 22. I cannot imagine myself going through anything they went through. No, I would not have had the balls to keep that up for so long. Up until this point, the boys were on a very strict and tight schedule of recording an album, then immediately going on tour for said album. While on tour for the last album, they would be recording the new album. Then that album would release, and then they'd go back on tour. Like, that's how it was going for multiple years, and that's just not sustainable for any human being. In March of 2015, they were already on their 4th album release, arguably their best album. They were on their 4th album despite only being a band for 4 years. So an album a year for 4 years is a little intense. And they were also preparing to release their 5th album, Made in the AM, aka their only album without Zayn and their last album ever to be released as a band. Today I just want to talk. I want to talk about a lot of stuff that went down on March 25th, 2015, because what the f*** that day, like the title says, worst day in Directioner history. If I were to hold up the screenshot from their Facebook page and like have it super blurry or whatever and hold it like all the way back here and showed like a Directioner then, I think they would combust. It was traumatic. Also my shirt, it was fitting. It says I miss them and then it's a picture of One Direction. I will have it linked down below. But you know, you may be wondering, where was I on March 25th, 2015? What was I up to? As a self-proclaimed super fan of One Direction, where was I when all this went down? And I genuinely couldn't tell you. I have no clue. I have no clue where I was when this happened. Let me give you a little background on my Directioner life. The year was probably 2010 to 2011. Somewhere around there, I was introduced to One Direction by one of my good friends at the time. She was obsessed with them, already was running a fan page. Harry girl, you get the vibe. She played me, I think it was One Thing. She played it for me and she was like, "You have to listen to this. This band is so good. You need to be as obsessed with them as I am. Get on it." I listened to it and I was like, no, absolutely not. That sucks ass. Terrible. I will never listen to that. And I think part of that was just me being like, I'm gonna hate everything that's popular. Can't like anything that's popular. Anyways, obviously I ended up giving in. And I was like, actually, you, bestie, you are right. They are amazing. Their music slaps. And they're all adorable and I love them. Hi! Then it started. Then I became a Directioner baby, watching every single video diary, watching every single X Factor performance that I could find online, memorizing all their birthdays and blood types. as you do, you know, as a 9-year-old. I was very One Direction heavy through their first album release, through their second album, through their third album. I started to kind of fall out of love, but I was just like, maybe this super fangirl lifestyle isn't for me. I felt like I was getting too old to be enjoying the things I used to like. You know what I mean? I don't even know how, 2013, that era, I thought I was like an adult. No, I was like 12, like, no. I stopped being a super fan of them. I was just like, it's kind of also tiring with how much stuff goes on in that fandom. So much is happening all the time and it was a lot for me to keep up with. So I kind of just let the obsession die down. There was no escaping their music. First of all, it was everywhere. Second, it slaps. So obviously I had to be listening to that stuff on repeat. But I just wasn't as into it and involved as I once was. So at this point, March 25th, 2015, I had no idea this was even going on. I mean, I probably saw it on Twitter that day and was like, oh my god. Like, it probably left me shook for like the rest of the day, but this could be a lie because I don't remember things like this. I don't remember having such a crazy reaction where I'm like sobbing. I mean, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of them at the time, this news was still extremely shocking to me and it left me a little rattled. I was like, what is happening in the world? I left these boys alone for like 2 years and all of a sudden flying off the walls and going to shit. What is happening? But current fans of them at the time, they were going through it that day. Oh my god. Current fans were having full-on mental breakdowns in the school bathrooms because this Facebook announcement was made at 11:30 a.m. on a Wednesday. So you have all these fans be like, can I go to the bathroom? And then sobbing. I could not imagine getting this news broken to me at school and no. That sounds awful. My heart goes out to all you brave Directioners. Y'all went through it that day. There is a part of me that fully believes that this had been a long time coming. An announcement like this doesn't just randomly get posted on a Wednesday. There's no way this announcement hadn't been planned and set up for a while beforehand, because with a band this big, as we know, their management is a little crazy. Everything is very planned out. Obviously, they're not gonna make this big of an announcement randomly. Also seems like such a quick turnaround from Zayn's absence on the Ultra tour to then him just leaving the band. Like, that seems a little extreme. So I'm thinking they had planned him leaving the tour at the point he did, because then they also had to accommodate for not having him on the tour. And I don't know, merch and stuff and promos. I mean, there are promos without Zayn in them. Also contracts. There are contracts involved with this stuff. I mean, I don't even know how you would get out of a contract that huge, I'm assuming, so fast. So this was definitely a setup for a while. But this also makes a little bit of sense when you think about how exactly a year after they announced him leaving, March 25th, 2016, Zayn released his first solo album, Mind of Me, which was obviously not coincidental. That was done on purpose. I don't know. It feels like it was planned. It probably was. There's no telling now because it doesn't matter. Honestly, at this point, as much as this day pained and left scarring on every Directioner's frontal lobe, all that matters is that the boys are happy. And you know, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. All that matters is that they're all happy and trying to better their quality of life, because like I said, that lifestyle, there's no way that is sustainable for a 20 to 20 whatever year old, a mid 20-year-old. Like, no, that sounds like hell. I mean, especially from what we've heard from Liam and about like them getting locked in their hotel rooms, all the crazy stuff. It makes sense why you would want to leave. So about 2 weeks later, after the Ultra tour ended, after Zayn left the band, the 4 members of One Direction released their 5th album, Made in the AM, in November of 2015. They released this album and all was good. We were all vibing to this album. It was amazing. It still is amazing. Made in the AM is beautiful. It is very sad though once you get to the song History. Best believe I was sobbing when I listened to the track AM for the first time. That whole album, actually, when you think about it, being their last album, makes it really sad. Except for like Temporary Fix, because girl, that song is not sad. That song is as good. And they killed it. A few months after they released their last album, in January of 2016, One Direction announced their hiatus. It was only meant to last for a few months, but clearly they're liars. I was a liar. All men do is lie. All men do is lie. I feel like Zayn's leaving was just the final straw for the band. Even though they are still one of the biggest bands in general, they're still gaining new fans and charting on charts. Their music is still charting, like, they are not going anywhere. And now they've all grown to have beautiful, amazing solo careers, and they all make great music, and they're all amazing, and I'm just glad that they can all do what they love. And they also remain friends. Thank you, Niall, for confirming this, even though we all knew that that was Harry. We knew it. Even though they do have solo careers that they are very occupied with, I am still holding out hope for a reunion of some kind, maybe even just like a Zoom call. Just a Zoom call, like a real Zoom call with like all of you. Also at the same time losing hope, because if they didn't do anything for their 10-year anniversary, when are they gonna do anything ever again together? We don't need to talk about their 10-year anniversary. We don't. Sad day. That day was also hell. Worst days in Directioner history, March 25th, 2015, July 23rd, 2020. Yeah. No, they're pretty tied, actually. But you know what? March 25th, 2015 will always go down as one of the worst days in Directioner history, honestly. Like, it was sad. But what are you gonna do about it now? You know what you can do? You can go stream all Zayn's albums. Yeah. That's what you can do. You can do that and then buy this shirt. Because I am capitalizing off of nostalgia. I miss them. I do miss One Direction. I do. I really wish I knew what was going through my head on this day. Even I scrolled all the way back on my Twitter to see if I had said anything on March 25th, and I didn't. So I don't know what was up with me. I don't know what I was doing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I make a lot of videos about One Direction, about Harry. Yeah, that is a This Is Us poster in the back. You can subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Okay, I'm gonna go listen to Made in the AM. I feel like I need to. Okay, bye!